Good Monday afternoon, and thank you for joining us on KARE 11 News Now. I'm Rena Sargentopoulos. Breaking this afternoon, a major shakeup in the Minnesota governor's race. Governor Tim Walz is out, ending his campaign for a third term this morning as Minnesota sits in the national spotlight, of course, over fraud. Political analyst Blois Olson says he faced an uphill battle because of the new focus on fraud. And, of course, no Minnesota governor has ever won a third term. Walz speaking this morning, saying he wants to shift his focus to the work preventing fraud and let someone else take care of the politics.
Every minute that I spend defending my own political interest would be a minute I can't spend defending the people of Minnesota against the criminals who prey on our generosity and the cynics who want to prey on our differences. So I've decided to step out of this race, and I'll let others worry about the election while I focus on the work that's in front of me for the next year. I'm passing on this race with zero sadness and zero regret. I did not run for this job to have the job. I ran for the job to do the job.
Right now, it is not clear who will step in and run as a Democrat. Political analysts suggest Senator Amy Klobuchar could be a frontrunner, but there are also some whispers of Secretary of State Steve Simon or Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison stepping in. The Republican side of the ticket, of course, crowded right now with Speaker of the Minnesota House Lisa Demuth, State Representative Kristen Robbins, Dr. Scott Jensen, businessman Kendall Qualls, and Mike Lindell. We have several teams on this announcement today. Make sure you tune in to KARE 11 News at 4, 5, and 6 for the very latest on the Minnesota governor's race shakeup. Well, today, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey was inaugurated for his third term in office. During his speech, Frey thanked the people of Minneapolis for trusting him and other elected officials, saying, quote, "This work is not easy, but it is fulfilling and it is meaningful, and you get to make a tangible difference." Within the last couple of hours, interfaith leaders offered support for the city's new and returning leaders. Also being sworn in today were new members of the City Council, the Park and Recreation Board, and the Board of Estimate and Taxation. New today, Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro pleading not guilty to charges in a New York courtroom after being captured by United States authorities over the weekend. Maduro and his wife are charged with narco-terrorism, drug trafficking, and 2 counts of weapons offenses. NBC's Jay Gray has the latest.
Well, this afternoon, the crowd starting to drop off here outside the federal courthouse in Manhattan during the initial arraignment for deposed Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife Celia Flores, both defiantly pleading not guilty. Maduro at times during the 30-minute hearing saying that he is still the president of Venezuela, that he is here illegally, and saying that he is a prisoner of war, that he was kidnapped. He walked with a limp, and his wife had arms as well as her head bandaged. Those allegedly as a result of the late night attack at the presidential palace in Caracas when they were taken by U.S. law enforcement and military and eventually moved here to the New York area. The couple represented during their first appearance by court-appointed attorneys, though it appears that they will include at some point here private lawyers as well. This is not going to be a short legal case. In fact, this is just the beginning. The trial actually likely not to begin until sometime early next year. So there is a lot to work through in this case. They will appear again in a couple of months here at the courthouse as they continue to move forward with the charges that do include, by the way, narco-terrorism and conspiracy, a string of federal charges that they will be facing as this begins to unfold. That's the latest from here outside the courthouse in Manhattan. I'm Jay Gray, NBC News.
Right now, the adult children of Melissa and Mark Hortman are condemning a social media post from President Trump promoting an unfounded theory that Governor Walz was somehow involved in their parents' murder. Trump shared the video on Truth Social yesterday. The video ties Walz and fraud in Minnesota state programs to the murders. In a statement, both Sophie and Colin Hortman called on Trump to take the video down and apologize, saying it is dangerous and dishonors their mother's memory. The Hoffmans, who were shot in that same attack, also released a statement saying they stand with the Hortman children. Today, lawmakers returning to Capitol Hill with a pressing list of tasks ahead. The Senate gathers today for the second session of the 119th Congress, while the House is set to convene tomorrow. In front of that chamber lies a critical vote on whether to extend newly expired Obamacare subsidies, an issue at the center of the last government shutdown. Congress must also decide how to respond to President Donald Trump's Venezuela operation conducted without congressional authorization. All of that as another government shutdown, of course, deadline looms here at the end of the month. Taking a live look from our nation's capital, where this week the massive fraud scandal sweeping Minnesota's social service programs will take center stage. On Wednesday, 3 Minnesota House Republicans are set to testify before the House Oversight Committee. The committee's chair, Republican Congressman James Comer, says Congress has a duty to act to prevent fraud and enact stronger safeguards. Governor Walz and Attorney General Keith Ellison have been asked to testify in February. It is not clear yet if they will. Investigative reporter A.J. Legault is headed to Washington to cover the hearing. He will be live starting tomorrow and throughout the day on Wednesday. Well, right now, many personal care assistants are going without their paychecks after the state suspended payments to 14 Medicaid services flagged as high risk for fraud. Sammy Salinas spoke with a family in Owatonna who relies on one of those programs to take care of one of their own and pay their bills.
Some days I get tired of taking meds.
One by one,
It takes a while.
Diana Zambrano organizes her pills while her daughter, Liz Gomez, watches to make sure she doesn't miss one.
She is a very independent woman.
She's her mother's personal care assistant, or PCA. She works for a company, but the money comes from Medicaid reimbursements distributed by the State Department of Human Services.
My mom is in end-stage kidney failure.
She's thankful for the program after she had to quit her job to take care of her mom.
Do you want to do your antibiotics? Do you want to do your evening meds?
And to be evenings,
They're used to counting pills and pennies
paycheck to paycheck.
to get by, but today, her paycheck didn't come.
It's absolutely disgusting that there are people out there who are using this as a way to make a quick buck. And because of that, it's affecting good people.
DHS has zero tolerance for fraud.
In a press conference Monday, Deputy Commissioner John Connolly addressed concerns over steps DHS is taking to reduce and catch fraud. They are suspending claims for payment of 14 high-risk Medicaid services while a third party reviews them.
It could take up to 30 days for clean claims to be paid.
I'm not going to stop taking care of my mom because I'm not getting paid. It's just the fact of the matter, though, is we still have bills to pay. You know?
Liz has 2 kids to take care of. She has another part-time job.
I also write in what hours I'm going to be working.
And Diana's Social Security will help, but she's hoping for an extension on her bills.
It's the scary part of it, you know. What if they kick us out? Where are we supposed to go? What are we supposed to do?
They'll be counting the days until Liz's paycheck comes in.
It'll say dialysis on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturday.
But for now,
So she usually does this a few times a day.
they'll take it day by day,
You look like you're in pain.
step by step.
You're slouching.
I know, I'm trying not to.
Claims flagged as suspicious will be sent to the Office of Inspector General for review. Federal rules require payments go out within 90 days at the latest if the claims are not denied. Today, parents in the Anoka-Hennepin School District sent their kids back to school from winter break, but there could be another break in just a few days. Teachers working in Minnesota's largest school district will be back at the bargaining table with the district tomorrow, hoping to come to an agreement. If not, they will walk off the job on Thursday. This is video from a rally last month in Anoka. The union is fighting for a raise to keep up with the cost of insurance rates. They've been working without a contract since June. In an update this week, the district says it is committed to improving salary and benefits for employees while working within the budget.
All of the district's proposals to date would ask teachers to take an effective pay cut. Over 3,000 educators across this district have said that that is not an acceptable outcome for this contract.
The district is still working on plans for students if the teachers do decide to walk off the job. It will likely be another heated school board meeting in Robbinsdale tonight as they consider closing another school. The board already voted to close 3 schools due to a budget shortfall. They're now discussing the closure of Fair School at Pilgrim Lane Elementary. The district is trying to fix a $20 million deficit. The public, of course, invited to share their thoughts during tonight's meeting. If you're interested, it does start at 7 p.m. As millions of Americans return to work and school this week, there's an increasing worry about a spike in flu cases. NBC's Emily Aikita has the latest.
With the holidays in the rearview mirror and millions heading back to school and work this morning, health experts now warning of what is circulating amid their return.
My whole family getting the flu was not on my bucket list for 2026.
Driven by a mutated H3N2 variant, which some have dubbed the super flu, infections are flaring nationwide. 29 states are seeing high or very high flu-like activity even before all of those holiday gatherings, according to the CDC.
We're seeing high fever, sore throat, cough, body aches.
Northwell's Dr. Jennifer Goebel says with this flu, patients are sicker for longer.
We're just seeing more cases, which is creating more volume, which is creating busier EDs.
New York State just reported its highest number of flu hospitalizations in a week on record. And across the country, the CDC estimates more than 80,000 people have been hospitalized amid this brutal flu season. Influencer Paul J. Kim recently opening up about the death of his 5-year-old son.
He got influenza, a really insane case of the flu, and it caused him to go septic.
Last week, officials in Kentucky and Ohio reported their first pediatric flu deaths of the season, while some hospitals in Maryland and North Carolina are ramping up precautions, adding new protocols in the new year, including masking and limiting visitors. The surge of sickness sending hundreds to their local pharmacies like this one.
We're going through tons of Tamiflu, the pills, the liquids, the antibiotics with that.
Experts say in addition to the flu vaccine, the best way to protect yourself is to clean your hands and surfaces frequently. Try to avoid touching your eyes, nose, or mouth, and use air purifiers or bring in fresh outside air until the season of winter viruses wanes.
Stick with us. More news and weather coming up after the break.